welcome back to Ramadan Food, Sex, and Fatwa Tapes. And this is episode number 2. And it's the and in this episode, the prophet falls for a dates scam. And it's not what you think about. But let's explore. And before we go any further, there's a warning. This is 18 plus. And also, as we said last time, Ramadan carries a very high risk people or for people with the type 1, type 2 diabetes. So be careful, please. Okay, in this episode, we're going to introduce a segment called You Ask and the Prophet Answers. And who better because Allah and His Prophet know best. Who better to ask? And every episode, we will have um, just different questions, and from the Hadith or Quran, we'll bring answers. And maybe in the future, we'll just have a complete videos that just have to do with you ask and the Prophet answers. What is today's question is all about? Today's question is about ajwa or dates. And for that, we go to Sahih al Bukhari 5445, narrated Sa'd. So the question is, what's the benefit of dates if you eat dates? So now let's go. Allah Messenger said, he who eats 7 ajwa dates every morning will not be affected by poison or magic on the day he eats them. So this is here some valuable medical information. So is this tested though? Before we can just send that to everyone. It's like apply this to give this to people. Let people know that if you eat dates, you can drink poison. And you can and nothing magic. Nobody can perform magic on you. Let's see from the same book, Sahih al Bukhari, 3268. Narrated Aisha, his bride, 6 years old. This is very interesting. Say magic was worked on the prophet so that he began to fancy that he was doing things which he was not actually doing. What? I mean, in the same book, he says you can eat ajwa and no magic will affect you. Now his wife says that he was, somebody bewitched him, that he started thinking that, he was having sexual relation with his wives, but he wasn't. And one time, he was thinking that he went to heaven on the back of a donkey called a burak. But his wife, they said he was sleeping right here. The bed is still hot. So ajwa doesn't work for magic. Let's see. The second one, it says that if you eat or drink poison, it will not affect you. Same book, Sahih al Bukhari, 4428. Aisha again, narrated Aisha, the prophet, in his ailment in which he died, used to say, "Oh Aisha, I still feel the pain caused by the food I ate at Khaybar. And at this time, I feel as if my order is being cut off from that poison." So, okay, like going to like you go to court and your defense attorney gives evidence for your innocence, and then it turns around and give evidence for your guilt. It's like, what, you know, can you make up your mind? Which evidence do you want to present? So the antidote for poison, antidote for magic did not work for the prophet. He was eating, and Muslims say that oh, there was no ajwa that day or whatever. He was bewitched for a long time. And if a prophet was bewitched, can you trust the inspiration that he receives or revelation that he receives? That's very interesting. So in this second episode here, where he ate a sheep, they went and invaded this town called Khaybar, and he killed all the men, and he ordered one of the women, a Jewish lady, to cook for them. How smart is that? You kill people, kill her family, and you eat food she cooked. And they asked the lady, "Why did you put poison in the food?" Because he said, the sheep spoke to him and told him that the food was poison. But after he ate, she responded. She said, "If you um, were not really a prophet, we will get rid of you." So this and it worked. So he was not really a prophet. And after 3 years, that's here. That's where Aisha is speaking. He says after 3 years, he died from the poison. So don't follow that advice. Sorry. So now let's go to Brother Rashid and this video about dates for a date, and I'll come back to give a little bit of a commentary or a translation. I already have subtitle in there, but I just did limited, just for the sake of understanding the story. And I'll be back.
طب ايه في السنة في الحديث؟ بينما نحن جلوس، طبعا دي بينما نحن جلوس دايما في الحديث، بينما نحن جلوس عند النبي إذ جاءه رجل فقال: يا رسول الله هلكت، يا ويلتى مصيبة كبيرة. قال: ما لك؟ قال: وقعت على امرأتي وأنا صائم. وقعت هو المصطلحات في اللغة العربية بالنسبة للجماع يعني تحسها أنه جاية من يعني كلها وقعت وطئت، جاية من الأرض، يعني اللي هي بني آدمة ولا هي حجارة ولا هي أرض ولا وقعت على امرأة، يعني واحد وقع. وقعت على امرأتي وأنا صائم. فقال رسول الله: هل تجد رقبة تعتقها؟ لأن هو مارس الجماع في نهار رمضان، ده محرم شرعا بحسب الإسلام. تعمل إيه؟ ما هو في طريقة لترقيع هذه الغلطة أو هذا الخطأ أو هذا الذنب أو هذا الإثم أو هذا يعني كسر الحدود، تجاوز الحدود. فلما ارتكب هذه المعصية أنه جامع امرأته في نهار رمضان، أو بتعبيره وقع عليها، كان ماشي وقع، ففي طريقة لحل المشكلة. إيه هي؟ أولا أنك لازم ترجع اليوم اللي راح، وتاني شيء لازم كفارة، فبيسموه القضاء والكفارة. القضاء هو تقضي اليوم اللي على رقبتك، يعني في دين في عنقك. الكفارة انك تكفر على الذنب اللي عملته. في حاجتين، القضاء والكفارة. فقال له محمد: هل تجد رقبة تعتقها؟ تعتق عتق رقبة، يعني ده واحد من وسائل الكفارة في الإسلام. قال: لا، أنا ما عنديش يعني ما أملكه من المال حتى أعتق رقبة. بتروح تفاصل مثلا على عبد وتطلقه وينال حريته مثلا. قال: فهل تستطيع أن تصوم شهرين متتابعين؟ لازم صيام شهرين متتابعين 60 يوم. قال له برضو: لا أستطيع. قال: فهل تجد هو يستطيع فقط أن يقع على امرأتي. قال: هل تجد إطعام 60 مسكينة؟ تقدر تطعم 60 مسكينة؟ قال: لا. شوف انه بيحاول يلاقي له اي طريقه. طب نعمل ايه في الحاله دي؟ قال: فمكث النبي، قعد يفكر هنحلها ازاي. فبينما نحن على ذلك اتي النبي بعرق فيها تمر. جاء وعاء اسمه المكتل او العرق، يعني وعاء في مليان تمر. قال: اين السائل؟ فين اللي كان بيسأل؟ قال: انا. قال: خذ هذا فتصدق به، خذ هذا التمر وتصدق به وخلاص، ده يوازي إطعام 60 مسكين، يلا نعمل لك أي حل. فقال الرجل: أعلى أفقر مني يا رسول الله؟ قال له: يعني ما أنا أفقر واحد في المدينة، أروح أوزع التمر على الفقراء؟ لا أكله أنا. فوالله ما بين لابتيها، كان في مكانين في المدينة بيسمى الحرتين، الشرقية والغربية. فلابتين يعني الحرة الشرقية والحرة الغربية، ما بين يعني في المدينة باختصار شديد. فوالله ما في المدينة أهل بيت أفقر من أهل بيتي. فضحك النبي حتى بدت أنيابه ثم قال أطعمه أهلك. قال له خلاص يعني خذ التمر. فالرجل وقع زوجته بتعبيره في نهار رمضان، ارتكب كبيرة أو ارتكب شيء عظيم في الإسلام، وجاء عند محمد عايز حل، طلع بتمر في الأخير. يعني لا هو كفر ولا هو عمل أي شيء، جاء يشتكي طالع بتمر، أهو خلاص وكأنه جائزة.
So this here is the greatest Nigerian or Indian scam of the 7th century. My man goes to the prophet and he comes and I can imagine him running and he's out of breath. Oh, prophet of Allah, uh, uh, I am dead. I am undone. And the prophet looks at him, is like, hey, what's wrong with this guy? What's wrong with you? So the man answers, uh, and I had sex with my wife during the day while I'm fasting in Ramadan. So Muhammad looks at him, you know, and he's like, okay, so now he has to fast that day again, but now there's requirements. He said, okay, now go to rectify that situation. Go and free 2 slaves. I thought there's no slavery in Islam. Where are the slaves? Where do you get the slaves from? He said, go and free 2 slaves. And the man, I think the man just is coming there to get some food. But just follow me here. And the man says, well, I don't have that kind of money to free slaves. He said, okay, can you fast for 2 months consecutive? And the man said, no, I can't. Why can't you? Anyway, he said, I can't. So he said, can you feed 60 poor people? And the man said, no, I can't. I don't have that kind of money to feed 60 people. So finally, the prophet, the man sits somewhere, for a few minutes. And all of a sudden, somebody brought, a pot, a dish that has dates in it. So the prophet asked, where is that man who was asking? So they brought the man. And so he said, okay, take these dates and go feed poor people in Medina and Mecca. So the man said, oh, prophet, look at me. I am the poorest man in Mecca and Medina. Shouldn't this food goes to my house? And the prophet started thinking and looked at him. He's like, just take it. Just take it and go and just give it to your family and eat it. So let's look at this here. The man had a major infraction. Instead of paying something to rectify the situation, is either, of course, he has to fast 2 months. He said he can't free slaves. He can't go feed poor people. He can't. Do you really believe this guy? He comes in doing wrong and leaves with dates and go and to eat it with the same wife that he had boom boom with. I don't believe that man was fasting. All right, we'll see you next time.